Don't talk. Hello, this is Michelle.
Girl, I'm not on.
Right. How's everybody doing tonight? This is Michelle and Cheryl. Say hello, Cheryl.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Merry Christmas.
Okay.
We're coming from a second part.
Nope, don't
Uh,
talk.
Raise on the beat.
Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying our mini video there that we got, a little commercial for you to take a look at a few upcoming subject matter that we're going to have in a series that I do, which is called Black Shop Black. Today, me and Cheryl, we are going to be discussing again three things that divide black families and black relationships. And we started this podcast yesterday, but it's going to be a series of podcasts that we do on religion, jealousy, and classism. Today we are only going to discuss religion and jealousy. So you guys gotta take a look at a few videos. So here I am, hello. And there's Cheryl.
Hi, everybody.
Okay. And so basically I'm still learning how to use this software, which is not the easiest to learn. So I hope that you guys can see us okay.
If not, at least hear us.
Yeah. So, topic Cheryl. We're gonna go ahead and show a video. The first video we're gonna talk about
We better
religion first. We're gonna go ahead and tackle religion.
we probably should make religion last and talk about
No.
the jealousy because religion goes
No,
into.
Well, if we don't get to the jealousy part, that's okay, because we got to do another podcast anyway. Let's go ahead and talk and do the religion, because you're all kind of hyped up on it anyway, because you just saw the mini videos. That's how come it kind of took us a long time, y'all, for us to
See, there you
come
go.
to you,
There you
because
go.
of the fact that Cheryl was getting a little riled up just now.
I am not hyped
And
on religion. I'm hyped on the Bible and God.
okay.
That's what hypes.
All right,
Oh.
then. So this is agree to disagree. And again, the subject is what's dividing black families. Okay? And
Or
it's a series, so it's such a difficult topic to kind of tackle. We are not going to be able to tackle all of it at this time. So, okay then. So let me go ahead and attempt to show y'all this video here. The first one that we're going to watch and I hope everybody is familiar with Pastor Hagins. Pastor Hagins is he's got a church in St. Louis called the African Village, African with a K. In fact, when I went to St. Louis the last time, I stopped at his church, and it sits, if y'all ever been to St. Louis, y'all just ain't seen raggedy on top of raggedy. It's the kind of city that make you cry, okay, when you see how the black people live in some parts of St. Louis. And so he's for real when he's talking, all right? Let's see here. Let me go ahead and...
one reason.
Let's see here.
However. Okay. But people weren't taking it. So what they did is they put the world in a 1,000-year period. I like the way Dr. Molefi Asante calls it, the fog. A 1,000-year fog. I call it 1,000-year period of information suppression. That's right. You see? And during that 1,000 years time, from 500 AD to 1500 AD, okay, the ruling elite, the powers that be, were creating their lie.
One reason.
And they passed rules that if anyone was found with the ancient book,
okay, now let me put him in here.
However, but people weren't taking it. So what they did is they put the world in a 1,000-year period. I like the way Dr. Molefi Asante calls it, the fog. A 1,000-year fog. I call it 1,000-year period of information suppression. That's right. You see? And during that 1,000 years time, from 500 AD to 1500 AD, okay, the ruling elite, the powers that be, were creating their lie. And they passed rules that if anyone was found with the ancient books, the teachings of Africa, they'd be put to death. You see how deep this goes? Burn all of the things from the Alexandrian library. And anybody that's caught with any of these sacred writings are to be put to death. Why? Because the best way to suppress the truth or create the lie is you got to eliminate the truth. Now again, I'm telling you, you're talking about 500 AD. You know how many people were born since then? How many generations were born since then? Born into the lie? And you think it's the truth because that's what existed when you came up? Okay? And then they came out of the Dark Ages in 1500 AD. But a few years before that, 46 years before that, this dude named Johann Gutenberg creates what's called the printing press. And the first Bible that he prints is called the Gutenberg Bible, okay, in 1454. In 1454. Mind you now, they're getting ready to come out of the Dark Ages. And now, what's the Bible? What's the book?
Sharon, why don't you ask your company and make sure they're, they can hear.
Think. Did you think they would allow Johann Gutenberg to print the information they tried to suppress all that time?
Y'all can go ahead and chat.
So the Bible he printed was nothing more than an expression of the fabrications that were created over those 1,000 years. The problem is every Bible since the Gutenberg Bible is an offshoot of the Gutenberg Bible. I don't care what version you're reading. And it's a bad thing to come to the realization that the book you've been having in the back window of your car is a lie. I don't care what version you're reading. That's not good news, man.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I'm listening to the video.
All religion was born from a desire to do what? Dominate and control others for profit and power. And it's still like that today. This is why we Africans must return to our spirituality if we're ever going to be free. Brothers, hear me when I tell you this. I mean, this thing of religion, man, is so dangerous. Nothing keeps us divided as a people more than religion. Nothing. I've seen married couples divorce. I've had sisters divorce their husbands because their husbands decided to join the African village. If you go over there and join that mess, I'm leaving you.
You can pull up YouTube too, Cheryl. Pull up the channel, you can see it.
So what is spirituality? What is it that's natural for us? What is it? Spirituality may be defined as the existential relationship of a cosmologically connected person to their cosmological reality.
Okay, there we go. That's the end. Okay. All right, then. So, Cheryl.
Yes.
Pastor Ray Haynes.
Okay.
Talks about the Gutenberg
Bible
printing press in the relationship to the Bible, right?
Well, he talks about the Gutenberg Bible in relationship to the printing press.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? Question. Which, I don't agree with what he's saying because, first of all, the Bible was written from stones, thrones, sea scrolls, what is this called? The Apocrypha, and several things like that. Okay, when we talk about anybody who's translated, it's because that's all he did was translated the Bible from whatever source you use. Then, regardless if you use a King James Bible, use anything. But what I mainly disagree with him is that a lot of God's children has gotten lost. They don't know who they are or where they've come from. And when he speak, or when pro-black or whatever you want to call it, speak of African Americans, you can't put yourself in that same category. You got to put yourself where you go and where you grew.
Well, we're Africans.
And you're not, baby. You are a mixed breed, which is...
We are but our genetic lineage goes back to Africa, okay?
And it goes back... Okay, let me tell you something. There was a river divided in 4 parts in the beginning of Genesis. And it speaks to the African American tribe that it's speaking to, which is Ethiopians. Okay, you are a mixed people. We are a mixed people. You can, probably take your lineage back to that part because everybody mixed during the time when the Lord said not to. Many mixed, but the one bloodline that can be truly traced back today, which is the Jewish bloodline. I don't care how you don't like it.
Hold on a minute. Say that again. The one bloodline. I'm sorry, are you talking about the black Jew or are you talking about the white Jew?
Look at here. See, that's the problem. See, what you fail to understand is there's no such thing as a black or a white Jew. There's a such thing as a Jewish bloodline, regardless of what color you are. Because
I do want the audience to be able to differentiate the fact that the Jew today is not the original Jew, at least in America. Now, you have black Jews that are still in Africa in certain parts. Those are the original Jews.
Now, who told you that?
Honey, this is information that you can find online today, tonight, okay? This is not, and let me tell you, when I was just in East Texas at the funeral, there's a young lady in the family of my husband's. She's working on her PhD. She's an African. She's from the Cameroon. Let me tell you what she told me because I asked her. She's very deep. She's over in Paris right now. I asked her the question. I said, what do the Jews over there think about the Jews, the white Jews? She said that that the white Jews don't go over to Africa acting like they're a Jew because they know that the original Jews are black. Okay? So that's where you get the Hebrews. I don't know if you've seen those Hebrews that be out on the corner and those Moors. That's what they believe in. Okay,
See,
they
but let me
the ones
tell
on
you
the
something.
corner, standing with the purple
It's
ones.
just man make void the word of God. Trust me. When you stand before God, you won't have a color. You'll be only a spirit. Now, you can say a white Jew, you can say a black Jew, you can say a green one, you can say a red one, but they're all going to have to come from the same bloodline, and it can't be
But
mixed.
they don't.
What
White
has
people
happened-
come from our bloodline.
Wait,
But
let me
that's
make my
not what we're
point.
talking about here, anyway.
Well, you just brought up the Jewish line, and you just
Well,
brought
you-
up the color.
But
But like I told you,
but you keep saying the
it's not
Ethiopians that we're not. We're African.
because Ethiopians are who the
But
Bible was
whatever,
written.
we all mixed up. But the Ethiopians were African. The Ethiopians
guys you
today
just
didn't look like the
brought up,
Ethiopians back then either. You got to think about that.
You're not an African, sweetie. Now
Yes.
you may want to be an African, but that's
I
not
am
who
from
the
African lineage, and so are you.
You're not
Okay,
from the
all
lineage
right.
of Jesus Christ.
Well, anyway,
They were
let's move on. Let's move on to the next part of the, cause I.
You just have to agree to disagree with me because I'm not agreeing with that.
Well-
because like I said, what I feel is what I feel. What I've been
So you're
taught.
trying to say that your family is not from African lineage? That doesn't
I'm
even
trying
make
to
any
say
sense.
that-
What you're
I'm
saying.
trying to
Where's
say
your
that
family
all-
from then? Where's your
I'm
family
saying
from?
all- My family is from your family because we're from the same family.
Where?
My family is from the family that we are here. We're the mixed race. We don't have a set place to be right now. We only group with whatever color we're the closest shade to. But we
I'm
don't
not
have
talking
a
about
family.
us right
Our
now.
family-
When I talk about
our
people, I'm
family-
talking about I'm
You're
not talking about us
skin
right
color.
now. I'm talking about people in general, all
That's what I'm
Africans,
speaking about.
people with melanin. All people come from Africans. All
I don't
people,
know where you
I don't
get
care
that
what
from,
shade you
because
are.
that's
The
because you
original,
don't believe in
the
the Bible, but
original
that's not true.
person is
That's
an
not
African,
true,
the
y'all.
oldest living bone structure they have found in the whole world.
But you're not
Archaeology
that
is
people.
black.
That's the problem. You're not that of that people. And that's why they get offended because
Somehow
you
down
say
in,
you are.
well, I
The
think
Bible
that you
says you have to
somehow
be
down in the
adopted back
DNA
into the
structure,
family.
everybody's related to everybody. Everybody has that same gene from
No,
the same
not
structure.
everybody. The
DNA.
Jewish race and the
Okay,
African race is
everybody.
not part of
I
our
don't know if
mixed
you
race.
know anything about DNA, but DNA, everybody has the same strain of DNA. They can see what's different on certain strains of the DNA.
And on that ancestry, when you look at the ones on the commercial, aren't they saying, I'm from Africa, I'm from England,
Yeah.
I'm from Scotland? But you put a Jewish person DNA out there, they're going to say, I'm only from from where the
You're
Jews
wrong.
are from.
You're wrong. You are
That's
so
not the
totally
one
wrong
you
that
Those-
I want
no,
to
I'm
move
telling you
on.
that the keys of David are real, and you can unlock every key and go all the way back to
Cheryl,
Jesus Christ.
that
If
you
tell
are
me I'm
totally
lying,
wrong.
You tell me where I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
You can unlock every key from Jesus to whoever is living as his descendant right now. But you can't do that with your races or mine because we go in too many different directions. Now, it's because we're different shades of people. So we group in different areas. Like what we call Caucasians, really, they are they're the part of the tribe that went over the Caucasus Mountain, landed in Europe,
Yes.
migrated, and started calling themselves Caucasian.
But what?
That's
But
how they
do you
came up with that
understand that people that the Bible is only how many years old, and that the Earth has evolved over 500,000 years ago? I think it goes
And
back
what
to
has
500,000.
that
Oh,
to do
listen,
with
let me
anything?
finish. That the first man they said walked on this earth, I believe, was 500,000 years ago. And how far does the Bible go back? So there
And
we
I'm
have
gonna
a
tell you what they
problem.
call them.
The
They-
people
no,
who are
what-
Jewish and claiming themselves into
Let-
today's
let me
Bible
correct you.
that we
It wasn't
read
man.
are not the
Let me
same
correct you.
people.
You're
The
wrong
story
there, and
is
we can-
stolen, Cheryl.
We can look it
So
up. You're
that's
wrong
how
there.
come I have a problem with it, but not.
Well, let me
That's
answer
how
you.
come families are divided.
You're
Because
wrong. That's wrong.
you
That's
have grown
wrong.
up with a
It
set of
wasn't a man.
principles.
So you have to do your history. It was a Rosie and it was an ape that they were claiming to be a man. It's called evolution. And it wasn't true. If you look it up, you'll see Rosie turned out to be an ape. And that's where
No,
man
Cheryl. How far does when does the Bible start? He already told you in the video. that it
with
was
where man started.
1454 when the
So
Gutenberg.
what does the Bible have to do with where man started from? We're talking about the
But
creation of us,
hold on a minute.
not the
Because
Bible.
things have to be in some type of historical analysis and they have to make sense.
That's right.
Now, if they're
And when
not
you
making
go
any
back-
sense,
You're not making any sense because you don't want to hear it. You want that to be true, what you're saying, but it's not. You have to go back and look up Rosie. That was her name. And she turned out to be an A. And I just don't believe in evolution.
well, I don't know
You
about
have-
Rosie. I heard
believe
something
what-
about Rosie years ago, but I don't know about when Rosie,
is
the
person
time
you
date
just said.
of
That was
Rosie.
the man who walked first
But
on the
I
earth.
can tell you this.
There's documentation to back it up.
There's a lot of things in the Bible that don't add up. And
Well, that's
so,
because
hold
we're
on a
trying to keep
minute.
everything in the Bible.
And
You
a
need
lot
to
of
look
people
at
are
the
having an awakening. That's how come the church is losing people. And they're definitely losing the
No,
young
that's not
people.
why, honey. That's wrong too. The Bible tells you there will be a mystery Babel called a harlot, which is known as confusion. That's why that's why people are leaving and doing this, because they're confused. They don't understand.
Where's
if you
that in
don't
the
understand,
Bible?
that's
And
in
I can
Revelation.
believe
The book
it. I
that
mean-
means to reveal. That's what revelation means, to reveal or uncover. And it tells you right there that the mystery Babel will be, Babel is confusion. Have you ever heard of the Tower of Babel? Have you ever heard, do you just
Yes,
look it
I
up?
have. Yes, I have.
Well, the word Babel means confusion. And that's what's going on with God's children. They're confused because they got so many people pro black and don't understand your.
It has nothing to do with being pro-black. It has
because
to
you're
do
looking at a skin
with
color
what
instead of
our
looking at a
original.
people.
Everybody can choose whatever they want to be. I'm not downing anybody.
Right. That's right.
I'm
But
just
see, you
talking
keep
about
coming back
the
to
confusion
Africans.
is right now. It has nothing to do with being
Don't
pro-black,
know
pro-white,
who you
or
are.
whatever. You got a lot of white people who feel the same way I do.
They don't
Way
know who
more.
they are. They're part of our same
Way
cloth.
more.
But
They are.
white
They
folks are in the
come
group.
from black people.
See, there you come
All
back
right.
with that again.
I'm done on that subject
I can
matter.
look at,
I'm done.
you
I
gotta
can't.
look
I
at
cannot
that.
express
Okay,
someone
Okay.
who needs to go educate themselves a little bit more or something.
that's right. And let me
Okay,
tell
now.
you this. Let me tell you this, and then we'll go to wherever you're trying to go. But right now, like I'm telling you, when you even read the Bible and you read it and it tells you the book of Solomon, and he says, hey, I'm a black man, blah, 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 blah. The only reason, if you research it, is that he tended to the outside, which he'll tell you if you read it and you go further, that the sun beamed on me all the time. And if you take any color and you beam sun on it, especially the lighter part of the people in our race, and if you beam sun on them, they're going to turn blacker than me and you. So that's what he meant when he was only saying another word for being sunburned.
No, they don't
He
have
wasn't
as
saying
okay,
that I'm
but
an
they don't have as
African-American
much. No,
and
their
like he wasn't
DNA
saying that.
is still different. Their skin might turn dark, but it's not going to
You and
stay
African
dark.
Go to Africa and take
It's
you
not
on and
gonna
see what
stay
happens. You'll
dark.
Eat your ass.
It's
Shit.
not going to stay dark because
You go to Africa
their
and
melanin
tell
is
Africans,
different
go
than
to
our
Africa
melanin.
and see
Okay?
especially
But-
the cannibal tribe.
All right,
They
I'm
looking
not.
for-
That there. We're gonna have another discussion on just all of
We
itself.
can't.
There's
This
a brother
is-
right now who's got a podcast. His name is Hank Thrasher. This is an old guy. He's an engineer out of New Mexico.
Okay.
And
Let's
listen,
hear about that.
I'm gonna tell you, he is so funny.
Let's hear what
I
you
want.
got.
I'm gonna play one of his videos.
Go ahead.
Not right
If you
now,
think it's
but
cool,
he's
let's
so
turn
funny
it
when he
down.
tells you and breaks down melanin. Okay, all right. So listen,
Okay.
I'm gonna
Break
go
down
ahead and
melanin.
play the next video.
Boy,
This is
split.
huh?
I say break down melon. We'll talk about more of this skin shade. Let's go ahead on.
Now I don't know if
Break
you
that-
want to play. If you want to play the video again right now, and you
Sure.
need to hear it, you want to go ahead and play it on your end. They can still hear the audio
Oh, which one are you talking about?
with Pastor Higgins.
Oh, the first one
Mhm.
or the last one? I didn't really listen to that clown. So the
Ah!
first one on the first one on the last one, I gotta go back. Because I mean, he's talking some stuff that I can see how confusing God's children.
Well, if you play
But
it
anyway,
on your end, I'll be able to hear it too. So go ahead and just
okay,
play
which
it.
one? Was it the first one or the last one? It must have been the last one because I don't remember him talking about melon. Okay.
No, he didn't talk about melanin. It's the first one.
Oh, okay.
It should be the first link.
Okay. Well, hold on. This is so funny.
But people weren't taking it.
Can you hear him?
Turn it up loud.
They put the world in a 1,000 year period. I like the way Dr. Asante calls it the fog. A 1,000 year fog. I call it 1,000 year period of information suppression. You see, during that 1,000 years time, from 500 AD to 1500 AD, okay, the ruling elite, the powers that be, were creating their lie. And they passed rules that if anyone was found with the ancient books, the teachings of Africa, they'd be put to death.
You don't believe that, Cheryl?
I've never studied their religion, Africa. I've never lived there. So I haven't studied.
You never heard of that before?
No, not in the.
See, I learned that a long time ago. They burned books. I learned that a long time ago how they burned books.
Okay, I learned that they burned books, but I never learned what he just said.
And way back then, though, they wrote stuff on on stone. So back then, what they did is they went and they destroyed a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff's been destroyed, and history's still being destroyed over there with all them wars and stuff going on.
No, that's not what happened. I can tell you that, but we'll listen at him.
The printing press, and the first Bible that he prints is called the Gutenberg Bible, okay, in 1454. In 1454, mind you, now they're getting ready to come out of the Dark Ages, and now what's the Bible? What's the book? The Bible. Thanks. Did you think they would allow Johann Gutenberg to print the information they tried to suppress all that time? No. So the Bible he printed was nothing more than an expression of the fabrications that were created over those 1,000 years. The problem is every Bible since the Gutenberg Bible is an offshoot of the Gutenberg Bible.
So every Bible's been retranslated over and over. Things have been pulled out.
Okay, I'm trying to let him speak before we voice our opinion, because what you just said, that wasn't for you. I translated in 1611, and it was translated to where we could speak the English language, because they didn't have an English language in Africa. Our Bible was first translated into Hebrew. That's the language we spoke. So let's continue. Now you're going to say that you're African, but your language wasn't your language was Hebrew, but you were in Africa. So what are you dealing with?
Language was what?
It was Hebrew. Our first Bible was written in the Hebrew, not African language. We don't know African language, and unless you've studied with them.
But that's if you say that the Bible was if you use the Bible as the first. Listen, you're using the Bible as the premise of the beginning of time. And you have to remember that the Bible was stolen. It's a stolen story, and there were people way before the Bible. It's the story of Horus. Now you need to look that up, and that's on another show, but it's the stolen story of the stolen African story.
Who told you that?
Honey, we're going to have to do another show. But because this is just too heavy. But it's it's stolen. So all right, go ahead.
It put the world in a 1,000 year period.
Okay, even the 1,000 year period he's talking about is a millennium in Revelation of 1,000 year teaching period. He don't even know what he's talking about. That ain't even happened yet. He's just going about stuff haven't even happened yet.
And during that 1,000 years time, from 500 AD to 1500 AD, okay, the ruling elite, the powers that be, were creating their lie.
Listen at that. That don't even make no sense.
And they passed rules. was down with the ancient books.
He's got a ton of videos online if you want to go see
I
it.
don't care. I can make a million videos and lie on it and don't know what I'm
All
talking
right,
about.
let's go to the next one.
Yeah, let's
It's
go to the
how
next
much time is on there? Let's show the next video. Okay. Now, hold on a second. I'm gonna play this because I don't know if people can hear good or not. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it on this end, and then we're gonna play it immediately again so that you can hear it. Okay. So hold on a second. Let me figure out how to work these things here.
Yeah, I can see how those people are so. That's sad.
Heard this word before. Theology, theos, ologio, the study of theos is the language of God. The study of God. Look at somebody.
Let me stop that.
I bet you they somewhere too wrong and ready for me saying
Got
thank
a
you.
little net in here that's bothering me.
No, they not us.
Oh my gosh.
What you're looking for? What's bothering you?
A little net that keeps flying in front of my face. One of them little.
You ain't saw nothing till God start throwing them bolts of lightning on your ass.
Okay, let me see here. Okay. All right, let me get that.
Heard this word before. Theology, theos, ologio, the study of theos is the language of God. The study of God. Look at somebody next to you and say, Africans did not practice theology. Just the very idea of theology is a European concept. Africans never got into theological discussions. And now that we do, that means that goes to show how influenced we are by the European culture. Africans did not have a discussion about the wind. They simply understood that the wind is a manifestation of the creative aspects of God. They didn't talk, they didn't get into that, man. Well, your philosophy is wrong, my philosophy is right, or whatever. They didn't get into stuff like that because Africans were spiritual people, not religious people. In religion, you have something called doctrine. There is no doctrine in spirituality.
That worked for him. Let him ride.
There's
I'm not
nothing
trying
to
to stop him or
discuss.
deter him, but I want him to make sure he meets the
making
right
sense
guy.
of this?
I disagree.
You see, religion tells us that the essence
However
of God
y'all
is
get there.
incomprehensible to man. God is, as far the Bible says, we've been taught, the Bible says, as far as the heavens are above the earth, so are his ways above our ways,
Hey,
and his thoughts above our thoughts.
you didn't tell me I had to grow nothing.
So you
Just
can't
said
understand
prophecy.
God. Well, then
Okay,
why are you
still
standing up there
playing the
trying to make
video.
me? What are you talking about then? And then I used to hear, don't question God. I'm not questioning God. I'm questioning what you're saying about God. It's not making sense to me.
All righty. Now, you want to go play that second video of his, and let's kind of talk about what he was talking about. And let's see.
Did you keep up with it?
Yeah, the video, they see the video. So now you can just go ahead and play it. Play the second link of his video, the last one.
Okay, I thought we already heard that.
No, I think you should have did the first one, the first of his videos, and I sent you the link. If you want, I can play it on my end too.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it.
I can play
Let's see.
it.
Theos, ologio, the study of theos is the language of God. The study of God. Look at somebody next to you and say, Africans did not practice theology. Just the very idea of theology is a European concept.
European, like I told you, they went over the Caucasus Mountains, settled in Europe, and became Caucasians. Dang, that's what I just said.
And now that we do, that means that goes to show how influenced we are by the European culture.
Because that's what you are, nut.
Africans did not have a discussion about the wind.
They
Not
did
an
have a discussion about the wind.
But he's not an African. That's why he don't know.
The creative
He was in Europe. His people. They went over the Caucasus Mountains and settled and migrated in Europe.
His people? No.
Your philosophy is wrong.
Girl, he's part of the people.
He is way more African than any white person. The white people were in the Caucasus Mountains. I'm sorry, you got that wrong. Your history's twisted.
Girl, please.
There is no.
Hold on now. We gotta let it finish.
There's nothing to discuss.
You're not those
Am I
people.
making sense, brothers and sisters?
No.
You see, religion tells us that the essence of God is incomprehensible to man. God is, as far, the Bible says, we've been taught, the Bible says, as far as the heavens are above the earth, so are his ways above our ways. And his thoughts above our thoughts.
So you God now.
So you can't understand God. Well, then why are you standing up here trying to make me? What are you talking about then?
Okay.
And then I used to hear, don't question God. I'm not questioning God. I'm questioning what you're saying.
Who is your God?
About God. It's
Listen
not
to this
making
part.
sense to me.
This is the best part.
Heard this word before. Theology, theos, ologio, the study of theos is the language for God. The study of God. Look at somebody next to you and say,
All right, he started over. Go ahead and end it.
What did you say was
So-
the best part? Now, what made
The
you?
part
Let me
that
ask you a
he,
question.
it's
What
all
made you
about
think he-
division here.
God.
And he tells you how religion divides. And that's the purpose of our discussion tonight. Okay? And he's not the only one. Now, I wish if anybody is watching this right now, if you're on Facebook or on Twitter, please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, okay? And chat with us on YouTube. You can do that right now because we would like to hear from you. So, I'm going to refresh and see if anybody came in to chat.
Well, like I said, I strongly disagree. I don't believe that. I believe in the Bible. I believe in and once you understand the true plan of God, I think once you understand, and you not only have to understand, all you have to do is compare what's being said and told and taught to you from the Bible or translations of the Bible, because like you said, there are several translations, but it just comes down to what Bible you believe. Because the only way you can believe in the God I serve is you have to believe in the Bible, because I'm taught that the Bible is his word. And when I compare it, and I don't have to wonder, because I know he lives. My father lives, and he lived in me before I even knew anything about the Bible, because I'm going to tell you the truth. Growing up, and like you said, what we're taught and all of that, I didn't understand anything in the Bible. It was too difficult for me to maintain. But when I started studying, when I started rooting words back, when I started looking at, like you said, the history and different cultures and I understood who I was, then I understood the Bible. See, it don't make sense if you try to relay the Bible to your flesh. You can only relay one book in that Bible to your flesh, and that's Ecclesiastes. And that means the man who walks under the sun. But when he's talking, he's not talking to a fleshly people. He's talking to a spiritual people. And he's talking to people that when he says flesh and blood is not entered into his kingdom, see, that's the God I serve, because he don't see flesh, because as a matter of fact, he says in Genesis that he made us out of flesh. He wished he'd have made us out of anything but flesh, because we've been so divided from the beginning. And that's why he had to put us in different areas. And that's why our skin tones changed, is because we were full of confusion like we are now. And he had promised that he would never destroy the world anymore with water. And we were trying to build
hold on now. If you only use the Bible as a frame of reference for your learning,
I use the Bible as my life.
then that's an issue. That's an issue.
Well, that's an issue for you, but not for me, because that's what my Bible and my Father in heaven has taught me to do. I know no other way to live but by the rules of God. So my God, like I said, is a living God, and we have a relationship. So when it comes to the Bible or anything.
But your
That's how
God
he speaks.
is your God is a
It's
God
not
that's
the devil.
tied to Christianity, right?
No, my God is a God that's tied to truth. So now your God is a God that's tied to Christianity and flesh. My God tells me flesh and blood will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. My God tells me traditions of men make void the word of God. My God tells me to follow him, and he's jealous of any man that tries to lead me astray. See, my God tells me all types of things, and it all comes from his
So
word.
is that's your spirit? That's your spirit, though, right?
That's the only thing
spirituality
that
for
matters
you,
to
right?
my God. It's my spirit, my spiritual being. See, flesh don't matter to my God, because that's going to die and go back to what he made it from.
Right.
But when it comes down to my heart, that's where my God looks, which is my mind. And my mind can be sealed or it can be open.
I feel the same way. I agree with you on that part.
And see, the part you don't agree with,
spirituality part, and how God influences us. Okay, it's a spiritual influence. Okay.
Well, not for me. Not for me.
But when you have the Bible that has all these stories that you don't know if they're true or not.
Well, what are you talking about when you say that? Because it's one story about one man's life and it ends there. So what stories are you talking about? Because it's only about
kinds of stories. I've heard things on, and we can have a discussion on that another day because I like to be a little bit more prepared. But there's stories on, like, even Noah and his ark.
So you don't believe in Noah and Noah's ark?
Listen.
So you don't believe in any of the Bible? Is that what you're saying? That doesn't make any sense. You don't believe that 40 days and 49
There's been a lot of stories that have been refuted. Okay?
Like
now, one thing Pastor Hagins talks about, not in that video, he talks about, now, and it's not just Pastor Hagins, but I can tell you one thing that's good about Pastor Hagins, is that he breaks it down. He breaks it down. He breaks it down in a way that's easy for you to understand for the most part, and that's what I like. Now, do you know he used to be a pastor, a regular pastor in regular church? He grew up in the church and everything, and he was a pastor, was ordained as a pastor, went to school, to theology school, and all that stuff. And he had an enlightenment experience, and so you got to go look at some more videos of his, but he had an enlightening experience.
Let me leave you with
this man. He talks about it. And
let me leave you
the man came to him and gave him a lot of African history that when he talked to him, and he started doing research on it. And you can find it. What's good about YouTube and what's good about all the social media that we have access to right now, and the internet, you can go find out about these things.
But like I told you, Michelle, I don't doubt what Africans has been taught and what they've learned over the years. I don't know African. I don't know their heritage. I don't know their lineage. I don't know anything about what they've taught. I don't, just the same way with the Chinese and everybody else that has different languages that I don't speak. I can't tell you what they've been through. Like they can't tell you what I've been through. If you go talk to the average African, they won't know anything about what I'm talking about as far as my lineage and where I come from, because I'm not African.
When you say you come from, could you keep bringing that up?
I come from the same place you come from.
Hold on, are you referring to something in America? Are you referring to ancestry? And how far back do you go? How far back when you say where I come from?
I go far back. When I say Africa, it's not me. It's not. It's some. I have ancestors there because I have some of their blood in me. They mix too. Everybody mixed that God said don't mix, except for the Jewish line. We all mixed, and that's why we're all mixed today.
Okay,
because
so you know what? Do you think God? Let's bring up this thing with Jew. Because those are the people who wrote the Bible anyway.
No, I didn't.
Yes, Gutenberg is a Jewish last name. Gutenberg. Constantine and all them people. Okay, you need to go back. The Jews, listen. they're even.
It wasn't
Listen,
written to you.
they came up with all three religions, not just Christianity. All the three main religions.
I'm not going to try to convince you to believe in God's word of the Bible, because see, God can show you better than He can tell you.
Okay.
And see, me myself, I was shown
Islam
stuff.
included,
So,
as well
that's
as
your
Judaism.
personal
The
relationship
three
with God.
religions, at least
So
in this
there.
country.
That is
Now-
a personal relationship. If God has given you that, well, hold on to it. You know, because like I said,
It's not what God's given to me. It's stuff that you can go right now and get
Well, that's
information
not
on.
mine. That's not for me. I'm studying spiritually.
It's not. You know,
Yeah.
that's the beauty of having the internet. So I want you to go and look at it. And
Yeah,
then I
I'm
want you
already-
to come back and let's have a better discussion on it. And you tell me, because I'm not the one that, you know, I just found this stuff out where I made a change in the way I think, you know,
Okay, well, let me
about
tell you
8
this.
years ago.
Okay, you're talking about them, which is man, okay? I'm going to tell you about me, which is man. I've already rooted and went back and checked it out and did like I said, read all the books, and because I was interested too. So what I did, I went and I re-amplified it. For like I said, like you said, even a child could understand it. I put it on my hub pages. Go look at Cheryl Vance hub pages. Look at Genesis. I did the whole thing. Look at Revelation. Look at it, and maybe it'll help you to understand. Because like I said, if you can understand that man, maybe you can go and understand me. I'm just the same thing. And then maybe you can put my stuff in blood and put it in stone and put it in rock. Because maybe it'll open your mind up to some stuff you never saw. Because like I said, I was taught the same way until I understood who I was. See, the only way you're going to know anything about your heritage or who you are or where you're going is first you got to know you. And you don't even know you. He don't know him.
I know
and
me,
anybody
Cheryl.
else. Go
I
ahead.
think that you don't know you because you're equating yourself as being a Caucasian in the Caucasus
I didn't
Mountains, and I'm
portray
sorry.
myself as being the Caucasian. I told you that Caucasians were in that part of the European country to where they stayed light. Like I said, I proclaim myself as where my heritage put my skin in a color of dark. But I can
Where
tell you
was
this.
that?
If you talk to the average black person that we call Africans, the first thing they'll do is when you ask them, well, you know, my great-grandfather was white, but my grandmama was white, but they told me my dad's sister was white. Saying those people
Who
are
are
coming
you
up
talking about? You talking about black people?
Black people, any black person.
Well,
you talk
we,
about,
the American people,
or Indian
listen,
or whatever, but you
we have
won't.
been
Africans
integrating
won't.
for hundreds and thousands of years. That's nothing new.
We mixed when
We
God
are
said, "No,
mixed people. I'm not
we are mixed
denying
people."
that.
That's right.
We
We're
are
not-
mixed people, so
We
that's
are
why I
not.
keep telling
We're
you,
not
I'm not
African.
talking about the people
We are
of
much.
today. I'm talking about the people from years ago. I'm not talking
You
about the
want those
people
people.
from right now. I'm not talking about the people from the last couple thousand years ago. I'm talking about heritage that goes way beyond biblical times.
Well, see, you're talking some
Okay.
stuff not my business. Because, like I said, I can only go back to biblical times. I can't
See,
go further.
that's the problem.
Because that's where
That
I
is
came
the
from,
problem.
biblical times. I didn't
You
come
started it all when the time that the Bible was
No, I
written.
did not. I started it all from the time my first ancestor, which was in the Bible, was written. When God told me that
And
I would
when
come.
was that?
So I wasn't back there with Noah, but my people wasn't back there with Noah. My
No.
people is why Noah came, because we mixed. And
When
see,
was
my
that?
people, when Noah came and surfaced is when everybody had mixed.
When
And
was
that's why
that?
God-
Do you have a date? When
Well,
was it?
It was past 1611. It was before 1611. It was like he was talking about around the 1400s. But I can't tell you
See,
exactly.
you're
when
gonna
he
try
got
to tell
there.
me and the
But
rest of these
what
people
I-
who are
I can
watching
look it
this,
up like you
you're
did
gonna
a
try
meeting
to tell me that we started in the year of 1400?
No, I'm telling you that that's when a lot of the people were. That the angels, you got to go back to when the angels were. Because see, it didn't used to be any daughters. There were only sons
Cheryl,
of God.
I'm sorry,
And then
honey.
I would have to take you way
sorry.
back to the cut of
It's
Do
not.
you know
It's
what
a
the cut of
story.
is?
You ain't even got
Okay.
your. You ain't
If
even
you
got
want
that.
me to take
That
you to the
that
beginning,
there. It doesn't make sense. Let me
I
talk
already
about something
started
else because you keep talking about you. When I was growing up, let me tell you about something else.
Blood, baby, us. That's why I say you. I said I'm talking about our blood. The thing started at the gutter bone. But see, you got to deep down and get in it. And like I said, I don't want to take you there.
That ain't making no sense. I asked you a date, and you can't even give me a date right now, Cheryl. I asked you a date. You can't even give me a date. And then you come up with something in 1400. I'm like, I know that ain't right. Because even in the Bible, it goes way far before that time. So your dates are not right. Okay, now listen here. Let's not even drill on that anymore. Because I want to talk about something else about the Bible that always kind of got me.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you're got, but I'm not. So let's hear what else got you.
What else got me was...
What else got you?
The scriptures that have to do with the Jews being the chosen people. Now,
okay, what's wrong with that? So that means you don't believe
with that? Let me tell you, you let me talk and don't interrupt me. First off, when we was talking and we kind of ended our conversation yesterday, we kind of talked about all of us being God's children.
Okay.
I don't believe God is a selfish God. And they do say that he is. When you go to some black churches, they preach that. He's a jealous God.
Jealous God.
I do not believe that.
Yes, he is.
I don't even like it. I don't even like it. All it is a allegory. That's all it is. It's a way of referring something about God that he isn't, to bring you closer into the religion itself. Religion divides and it conquers. So it makes it was created to control people. That's what religion does, and it does it in a way that it controls your mind. Because that's the way you was raised, and honey, don't get me wrong. That's just the way you was raised and the way I was raised. I have had an enlightening experience.
Like I told you, don't compare me to that. Because like I just told you, I came up in a way that I didn't understand it. But once I knew who I was, then I understood it. It's people being still taught this crazy way, like you all are talking. But it doesn't make any sense if you can't prove what you're saying, and it can't be proven. So what I can tell you is this. Hold on a minute.
In the Bible, it talks about, let me say it again, Jews being the chosen. Now,
that's right.
Listen to this. That would mean that God would be a discriminatory God.
No, he explained that though.
Explain that then. Explain it.
What he did after the flood, the reason for the flood was only because those 8 Adamic souls never mixed. Everyone else had mixed that he had created. Those are the only 8 Adamic souls that never mixed. Okay, that's what the keys of David are. Because you can, when those souls didn't mix, now, like I told you earlier, you can go from those 8 Adamic souls, and you can just look at each one of their generations, each one of them. And every time you go to the next one, that's called a key you unlock. And you go to the next one and the next one. And like I said, the story, if you look at it as one man.
Hold on.
Well, wait, let me
finish.
With
a parable, a story.
I'm not going into a parable. I'm telling you what the keys of David are. You just, let me tell you something.
No, but hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let's go back. Go back. The 8 souls.
The 8 Adamic souls.
What does that have to do with why the Jews are considered the chosen people in the Bible?
You won't listen because Jesus was born into a Jewish family.
Okay.
Once you unlock all the keys and you unlock it, you can do it today. If you want to have you a lesson, take from those Adamic souls and look up each one of their generations till you get to Jesus. Because you can. It's the only one you can do that with.
Now, so you do understand that Islam has Muhammad. Okay, the Muslims have Muhammad. Okay, the story, you do know their story is very similar. The path that Muhammad took is very similar to the path that Jesus took. The stories are somewhat similar. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to go into that right now. However, my point that I'm trying to make right now is that Jesus was a man. He was a Jew.
No, Jesus was the living word.
Was Jesus a man?
Jesus was like you and me. He was the living word, though. He came to teach us in our bodies.
So you're saying the living word as like an allegory of
God.
You say living word that he was a man then, right?
I'm gonna explain to you what I'm saying. God is the word, like I said, what you call quote unquote the Bible. God is the word. He's the Bible. He's the living word. He came to live the Bible. And then the Holy Spirit is in the word. When you embrace them both, then they'll teach you and they'll guide you like they did me. And all you got to do is just do a tiny bit, as much as a little mustard seed of study. And God, when you seek, you will find. But see, the thing about it is, if you just follow, you will follow. But if you seek, you will find. Okay. So you have to stop following.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you got anybody in your family?
I'm sorry?
Do you got anybody in your family that believes the way I believe?
No, not to my knowledge. Okay. Now, all I know is I have people that disagree with what the scriptures say, but they don't disagree with that the Bible is real and that it influences God and Jesus.
I'm not saying all the Bible's not real.
Well, I'm not. You asked me a question.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a stolen story, a lot of it, and it's a lot of different stories that have come together that have been mistranslated or either made in favor of certain. So let me finish. Made in favor of certain ethnic groups. Okay, it has a lot of bias and discrimination. It doesn't treat women well. In the Bible, women are not treated well. I mean, it's got a lot of issues. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of you young people don't follow it because of a lot of the stuff with that. A lot of how it, a lot of how the Bible has, I know for a fact, because I know for a fact that a lot of the people do not follow. Because I have it in my family. I have a daughter who doesn't believe. And I didn't tell her one minute not to believe. She just never had it. When we used to go to church, she could never get into it in the first place. I'm surprised. She could never get into it. And even when I used to go to church every Sunday, I just couldn't get in. And now I really don't get into it because there's so much scandal in the church. And I hate to say it. And you know what? My husband, believe it, I've been with my husband for 30 years. He grew up in the church. Now, he'll go to church once in a while. But he stopped going to church too. And I know so many people that just have stopped going to church. And that doesn't mean you don't believe in God, though. Because I believe in God.
Well, let me tell you something.
My God is spiritual, but I don't believe, and I don't need the Bible who's giving me false information. I can't believe everything is true in there.
Well, let me talk and tell you this.
Okay.
Trust me on this, and God in heaven knows it. When I didn't understand, when I didn't know, I started digging, and when I started digging, anybody in my family tell you, they'll be like, Cheryl just really needs to go to church. Because church, but see, it wasn't about church for me anymore. It was about reality. See, my God is not a religion, he's a reality. And when he started putting stuff on me, when he started explaining and breaking stuff down for me, and then I was mentored to the right directions, and then I was told how to look up stuff and how to root stuff back, and how to use the tools that in 1611, like I said, that Bible that was made, the first one that came into our generation and our generational generations, when it told you in the first English language, which is the language we speak, and he gave you a 32-page letter in the first of the book. And he said, look, I am only limited to what your language is. He said, now you're going to have to get the tools and you're going to have to root this stuff back to the original languages they were spoken in. When I tried to do it, he said, and speaking of King James, he said, it was too many words that meant the same thing. And he gave an example of a woman. And he said, I found that meant a girl, a daughter, a sister, a mother, she, her. And he went on, and he said, it was just too many languages. It was too many words that meant the same thing. So you're going to have to get your tools and root it back to the language it was spoken.
The problem I have is not exactly with all of them stories. The problem I have with the who wrote the Bible, and the time frame it's giving and the stuff, yeah. So I have a problem with all of that. But you know, that's me just saying that. Now King James was a terrible person. King James, he killed his own mother. Okay? So he was a terrible person. I don't know how anybody, why we were even reading any book that ever had King James's name on it. And I remember King James all the time. I used to pass out King James Bibles everywhere. You go into a hotel or anything, you will see King James version of the Bible. That's how much it's influenced our lives. But let me ask you this, Cheryl. Now listen here.
Get you a Gutenberg Bible.
To me, church right now for black people is social. It's social. It's like a social group. I mean, you come together, you praise, you get that good feeling when you go to church. Still, some churches, dress up and kind of outdo each other. Let me finish, because you mess up my train of thought when you interrupt me. Now listen, it's a social group in a sense because of the fact that, look at all the stuff that's going on at the church, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay? I'm not talking bad about it. I think the church does a lot of good when they're doing good. Okay? And I praise them and I'm for it. Trust me. I just think that we have a lot of scammers out there. And that's a whole nother subject. I'm not going to digress there. And I think that the way religion has divided us with things like having so much pride and things that we learn and thinking that the Jews are the chosen people, it makes you feel like, you need to bow down to these so-called Jew people who are Jews, who are white Jews today. Our young people can't identify with that. And you teaching them something like that, that has an inferiorness to it.
That's not true, because it's more to that story. Now, when you go and pick out certain things like a lot of pastors do, now as far as what you're saying, I just disagree with you, because the thing about it was this, I don't know what young people you around or how many people is so into the facade of don't believe, but the ones and the young people.
It ain't just young people, it's old people too.
It's a lot of people. Like I say, traditions of men make void the word of God. Only thing God told me to do was plant the seed. Now, what relationships you get with him, that's on you. If you're right, you're right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So the bottom line is this: I have to disagree with what you're saying, and I love my life with God. So I love being.
There's nothing wrong with that. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not, but I think that everybody to each its own on it, But I'm just saying, for me, I had an enlightening experience.
Hey, we can sing together, but we can't talk together. That's why I allowed you the respect of hearing you.
Sorry about that.
So you got to, give me that same. But like I said, I don't doubt anybody the way they want to feel, because that's not my business. My Bible told me that God puts a spirit of slumber, which when you root it back, it means to it's slumber and it's sleep on a lot of people, that it doesn't matter what I tell them or how I try to convince them. He said, I put this spirit of slumber on them because, see, if they understood that in the millennium, after the millennium, when the time up, when they're carried in front, and when they're being able to be judged, they will not allow the Holy Spirit to speak through them. So that's why he put the slumber on you. So it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying just you personally, but a lot of people don't get it. And that's why when you see a lot of times in the Bible where it says if you got F, you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. You'll hear what the Holy Spirit is saying to you. Now, when we go back to, let me get this on my mind because you brought this up about the parables. And we talk about not only does he use parables, he used symbolism. And he used that because it's not for everybody to know his next moves. So the thing about it is, if you don't get it, he's not talking to you. Don't worry about it. If it don't make sense to you, he's not talking to you. Don't worry about it. If you're not there in it, like your pastor was saying, the 1,000-year teaching period, which haven't come yet, you're going to learn there whether you want to or not. So my God is a living God. Now, I can't tell you about anything else, and he gives me what I need for my lifetime, not for what happened with the Ethiopians before they mixed, or what happened with the tribes before they got.
It only goes back to the Bible. The only black people in the Bible were the Ethiopians, according to the Bible. So, that's another thing that has a lot of.
So that's what you saying. That's a lie. But then, like I said,
no, they were there. I believe that the Ethiopians were there. They were, but they're not the same Ethiopians that you have today. I live next door to Ethiopians and Somalis. Because there's a lot that live here in Minnesota where I
bet you they didn't consider themselves your family or your brothers, did they? Or sisters? If they did, then they weren't true Ethiopians. Because if you go trying to tell them you they family, they going to laugh
you out. But a lot of them over there have come. And did you know Minnesota has the largest Somali population and Ethiopia is next door to Somalia, okay? And there's a lot of Ethiopians here too. So but that's another subject. But there were more Africans than just them as well. But see, the Bible wants to make you believe that they were the only people, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that they're the only black people. I don't buy that.
So prove they weren't.
Okay, we have to do that in another discussion.
Okay, we'll do it in another discussion.
Another, podcast, because the truth of the matter is it's better to show somebody something than to just talk about something.
That's right, and that's why I've given you every fact that I have.
But I think, in my opinion, everything that I said tonight, you need to go do some research on.
Okay.
So, that's that. And I want to kind of close out the show now.
You're going to podcast. We're finished? Okay. I wish somebody would have called in, because that right there is just something I would have really loved to hear people.
Well, we just getting started. But I can see that we had some viewers on Facebook. I always get more on Facebook than YouTube. So we got to get them people to convert over. If anybody's watching, you can call in right now. But so I want to go ahead and end this out, and
or maybe we ran them off, because maybe
you think I ran them off? I hope I didn't run people off, because I do respect everybody's opinion, and I just respect people, and that's why we have this podcast called Agree to Disagree.
And I wish that that's just my opinion, and I'm not talking about anybody. I want to put that out there. I'm not saying that anybody is wrong in their beliefs. I'm not saying anything like that. All I'm saying is I don't believe what you're saying. Yeah. But then when it comes down to what you believe, like I said, my main hope and prayer is that we're all trying to get to the same God, just taking different forms of transportation. Yeah. Even the transportation that Michelle is in. I just hope that when we get together, we are in the right place, both of us.
Yes.
So, regardless of my way is the right way or her way is the right way, let's just hope we meet in the right place. Right. And even your pastor and whoever else.
We can agree to disagree, because we have conflict. There's a lot of us that don't believe in a certain way or concept or how to do something.
That's right.
And that doesn't mean that we have the right way. It doesn't mean that we can't take the time to listen.
That's right.
Cheryl, I think I lost you. You there?
You lost me? I'm here.
Okay, the camera blinked out for a second, but anyway, so we want to end that on this note here. It's Saturday night. I don't know how long. I don't even know what time we started, but we've been streaming now for at least an hour, I know. And I'm going to go ahead and play that same video that I played earlier at the beginning to end this out, because what's been happening is the videos have been cutting off, and I want to make sure that this doesn't cut off. Can you hear me?
Well, wait a minute. Before you do that, I want to make sure that whoever, if anybody is out there listening, go to Cheryl Vance Hub pages, look up the Genesis study guides, and look up the Revelation. And it will, but first try to please read the Genesis before you read the Revelation. And I have clarified so much that I don't have time to talk about today.
Well, you should have talked about them scriptures at that time. So we're going to talk about that again in a podcast. If you want, we can go over some of the scriptures.
It's not scripture, sweetie. It's not scripture.
What is it?
It's a hub page.
Oh,
that they can go
page that you have. Okay,
Cheryl Vance, CherylVance.hub page, and go and look up the Genesis and the Revelation. And and like I said, try to do the Genesis so you can, and I guarantee you, if you read Genesis, you can open that Bible up anywhere you want to, and you'll understand. So go ahead. It's not confusing when you know and you walk the right way and someone teach you, because you just need to know who you are. Once you know who you are, you'll know who you are. So, then tell me what you think.
Yeah.
All righty. Now you can go.
Okay, yeah. So say that again. What is that URL?
It's hub pages, CherylVance.hub pages.
Right, for Cheryl Vance. Okay. And then also, we need more subscribers, so please like, subscribe, join. We have a Bob Rewards Club Facebook group that you can join. Hold on, let me finish. That you can join, okay? And then also you can go to our website, which is bobrewards.club, and you can sign up for only $25 a year if you're a black-owned business or a black franchise or contractor. Or if you just want to support black-owned businesses, and you can just buy a membership. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. It doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to have a business. You just have to be 18 years old. So again, go to bobrewards.club. And I want to wish everybody for watching this. And as I said, I'm going to play this video. Did you want to say one other thing, Cheryl, before we go?
Yes, I want to say, always remember, no matter what's said here, Jesus is the reason for the season. And also, if you want to go to the Marriage Couch, I'm going to also have a link, Direct Secrets to Matchmaking or the Marriage Couch, and I'm going to have a link to the hub pages as well. So
Jesus is the reason for the season, but that's a whole nother discussion. Christmas has become so commercialized. I don't even celebrate Christmas like it is. That's a whole nother podcast.
We're definitely going to have to do that, because I got to show these how Christmas is real, and I got to show them how people has confused them and told them it was Jesus' birthday. No,
it's not. It's the December 25th is not Jesus' day that he was born. They already established that.
It was the day that he was conceived. See, they don't go back further enough, because they don't study like I did. But I will show you in one of our podcasts how Jesus was conceived December the 25th.
And then when was he born?
September.
Oh, see, I heard it was sometime. It was either
April
baby, or
you gotta
May.
Study for yourself and know. I know, because I've studied it and I found it.
No, it wasn't.
And it starts with Zechariah. So once we go to that podcast, like I say, I might put that teaching in the hub pages, because everybody need to know, celebrate your Christmas, baby, because it was the year your father, in your living word, Jesus was conceived. He wasn't born that day, but he was definitely conceived that day. And if you think I'm wrong, root it back and see when he was born.
So you're trying to say that he was born September 25th?
No, I said he was born in September.
Oh, okay.
They said they rooted back around the 23rd. So you got to go to the equinox, which is the which was the clock in the calendar used in biblical times.
Right. Months are not the same. No, the months are not the same. I already know that. Okay. Yeah, because did they have like only 9 months or something?
Just yeah. Well,
They
the
had
thing about it
9
is
months.
the equinox come the same time every
So
year.
somehow that got all screwed up too.
Well,
So
I know that.
I'm
too,
not
but
an authoritarian on
about
this subject matter. I've been working in the business field for, like I said, doing sales for 30 years. So I know I'm not. But you know, these subjects are very much, I'm very much intrigued, and I'm going to keep learning. And we're going to keep bringing on people who can teach us things like this, you know, and how it integrates. So, hey, we're going to end it with that, and I wish everybody to come back. Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry if I offended any, but I'm sorry. The word and the truth sometimes hurt.
Here we go.
Amen. Let's go.